What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG TCG video. Today, guys, we're going to be going over the new Royals support that is set to release in the newest set, Animation Chronicles 2022. For people that are unaware what this set is, basically this is a set that's released every year to where we essentially get cards from the anime get imported into the OCG and TCG, and the first support that we're going to be going over in terms of this is the Royal support, which if you don't know what the Royal support is, or the Royal deck, it's basically the deck that's focused around King, Queen, and Jack's Knight. You know, the deck that got a massive support in King's Court. That is the deck that's going to be getting supported in Animation Chronicles 2022, and those are the support cards that we're going to be going over in this video. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into it. So as per usual with these card game videos, we'll go over the monsters first, then the extra deck monsters, and then off with the spells and traps, although we don't have to focus on extra deck or traps, because that's not in this new support, it's only monsters and spells. And speaking of monsters, the first and only new monster for this new support is Royal Straight Slasher, a level 6 light warrior effect monster with 2400 attack and 1350 defense. It cannot be normal summon sit, must be special summon Royal Straight, which we'll see that card in a minute, because that's the other new card for this new support. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you have all of Queen's Knight, Jack's Knight, and King's Knight in your graveyard, you can send one monster of each level between 1 and 5 from your hand and or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So, to be able to get a one-sided board wipe is very nice. There are quite a bit of restrictions to this card. You need Kings, Queens, and Jack's Knight in your graveyard, which isn't as bad as it first seems, because I know with the King's Court support that we had gotten for this deck, it makes it a lot easier to do it. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, doesn't Joker's Knight just do that anyway? You know, you can send the 3 knights to the graveyard, and you can special summon Joker's Knight. So if you have Joker's Knight in your hand, send those 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard, special summon this card, you can use Royal Straight to be able to summon Slasher, and then you'll already have those cards in the graveyard, so there you go. So you'll have the cards to be able to even try to attempt to activate the effect, but you also need monsters between the levels of 1 and 5, which kind of is a little stupid. I don't know if the entire Royal deck does have monsters between 1 and 5, which I guess you could just add the cards in there anyway, so it's not too bad, but it does kind of suck that you have to force your deck to be able to play monsters between levels 1 and 5, just so that way you can get a board wipe. But you know what? It's like I said, it's a board wipe. It's always nice to have that, even though there's other cards that can necessarily do the same thing, but a little bit easier. Just to have an in-archetype way to be able to just completely nuke your opponent's board is a really nice effect. And then the second effect is when this card is destroyed by battle, you can target up to 3 light warrior monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. Very nice effect as well, you know, to be able to get back 3 monsters from your graveyard to go into link plays, fusion plays. I think this deck also plays Exceeds monsters. I don't think they play synchro monsters, but hey, if you're forced to play level 1, level 2 monsters, maybe you can throw in a synchro monster if it can fit well with the deck. Who really knows? I don't think it does, but I guess if you can find a way, there you go. So to be able to go into those other plays by just getting back 3 monsters from your graveyard is a very nice effect to have. Does suck that it has to be destroyed by battle in order for the effect to work, but hey, if you can just, you know, make this monster attack your opponent's monster, it gets destroyed thanks to you being able to do that, and then being able to get 3 monsters from your graveyard. Honestly, pretty nice effect in my opinion. So overall, not that bad of a card if I'm gonna be honest. It's that first effect is not as bad as it first seems because of the King's Court support. You know, if this was prior to it, I think this card would just be terrible. It's just too hard to really be able to get that first effect off. And the second effect, although it's very nice, you know, it's just a lot more better because, you know, with Link monsters and Exceeds monsters, that it's a lot more worth it, in my opinion, for that second effect. So, thanks to all of the new support that we've gotten, I do think this is honestly a pretty nice inclusion to the Royals deck, in my opinion. But with that said, this is going to lead us into our next and final card for the video. Yes, there was only 2 new cards for this new support, and it's Royal Straight, the quick play spell card that you need in order to summon, you know, Royal Straight Slasher. Its effect is send one of each Queen's Knight, Jack's Knight, and King's Knight from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Send special summon 1 monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck, or graveyard that mentions all of Queen's, Jacks, and King's Knight. Oh, so excuse the hell out of me from what I said earlier. You know, you don't even need Joker's Knight. This card just does it anyway. So you just send the 3 cards to the graveyard, summon your Royal Straight Slasher, and then you can just get a board wipe as long as you have the monsters between 1 through 5. I mean, hell, that's a lot easier than I was actually expecting. I thought you would have to use, like, Joker's Knight to be able to get it, or there are other ways to do it as well. Like, I know, I can't remember. I think it was, well, I can't remember the name of the card, but I know there's one card in the Royal deck to where, you know, you can tribute the card and you can get 2 of the Knight's cards to your field or into your hand, and I know there's another way to search for the remaining one, and I believe the Queen's Retrain can send them in the graveyard anyway, so not like it wasn't impossible to be able to do it anyway, but the fact that this card can just do it by its effect alone, and it seems like that's the only effect of this card, is just to get Royal Straight Slasher to your field and be able to get the Kings, Queens, and Jacks Knight in your graveyard, so that way you can actually use that first effect, makes this card pretty solid in my opinion. And I think if you're going to play playing Royal Straight Slasher in your deck, you know, obviously you need this card to be able to summon the card, but honestly, I don't think it's really bad to have a copy of each of these cards in your deck. I don't think I would play more than 1, maybe 2 at best, but that might be pushing it a little bit in my opinion. But having an additional card that can be a board wipe and can bring back 3 monsters for your graveyard, pretty nice in my opinion, and having a card that can very easily summon it, you know what? I'll take that any day of the week. So, overall, I think this is a pretty nice card and definitely helps Royal Straight Slasher a lot more and making it a lot more viable than it originally was, in my opinion. But with that, that's going to be it for the new Royal support. General thoughts on it? Pretty nice support, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely now with the fact that we have the Royal Straight card that can be able to very easily get Royal Straight Slasher out onto your field, and it has the potential to have a board wipe and can bring back 3 monsters from the graveyard if it gets destroyed by battle. I mean, I can honestly see these cards being played in a Royal deck, not more than 1 in my opinion, because I just feel like it might get a little too bricky in my opinion, but honestly, I thought this was a pretty nice support in my opinion, and I'm going to be honest, was not expecting these 2 cards to get printed. Obviously, these were 2 cards that were only used once in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, if I remember correctly, and it was in that duel that Yugi had against Leon. In fact, I think this was the monster, I could be wrong, that helped defeat Leon. I know he had the whole thing, you know, where half his deck was getting sent to the graveyard, and because he had 1 card remaining in his deck, you know, he can't send half of a card to the graveyard, so that way that Golden Land card was able to get destroyed, and I think he used this card to be able to win that duel against Leon, if I remember correctly. So the fact that they actually decided to print this card, which was not used in any other duel, might I add, is pretty interesting to say the least, and definitely was not expecting it at all. But hey, that's what to expect with Animation Chronicles 2022, or just this whole type of series in general, because it can be any card from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime could be added into the set. I mean, I wasn't expecting G-Golems to get support before Amadeus Legio, Storm Rider, or Hydra Drive, and yet that was the deck that was chosen. So I guess I shouldn't really been too surprised, but that's what we got. And honestly, I think this was pretty nice support for the Royal deck. But with that being said, that's going to be it for this OCG TCG video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this new Royal support. Did you think it was good support? Did you think it was okay support? Or pretty bad support? And let me know what decks that you guys want to see get support in this new Animation Chronicles 2022 set, or just if it's a singular card. Like, I would love to know what cards that have not been printed to the OCG or TCG yet and it's still anime exclusive. I want to know what cards that you want to be released into this set. Would love to hear all your guys' thoughts on this down below. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.